All right, let's jump right in. We're going to break down two terms that get mixed up all the time, even by really smart builders: automation and AI agents. And look, getting this right, it's not just some academic exercise. It's literally the key to building things that can actually scale.
Now you might be thinking, aren't they kind of the same thing? And yeah, it's easy to lump them together, but they're built on totally different ideas. And figuring out that difference, it's not just a minor detail. It completely changes the way you approach building stuff.
And actually, the source material for this explainer makes a pretty bold claim. This exact confusion is one of the biggest things holding teams back. It's like this invisible handbrake that keeps good systems from becoming great, stopping them from hitting that next level of scale.
Okay, so let's get on the same page. We gotta build a solid foundation here. We'll start by defining our tools, and let's begin with the one we all know and, well, probably use every day: good old automation.
So think about automation as the execution layer. It's basically a loyal soldier. You give it a very specific script and it follows it, no questions asked. If X happens, it does Y, period. There's no thinking, no adapting, it's totally deterministic. The same input gets you the exact same output every single time.
And this is really where automation is king, right? It's the absolute champion of those predictable, repetitive jobs. We're talking about things like, sending out notifications, syncing data between different apps, or running workflows on a schedule. For any process that's just a straight line, it's super reliable, super efficient, and yeah, it saves you a ton of money.
But then you've got AI agents, and they are a completely different beast. They operate on what we'll call the decision layer. See, you don't hand an agent a script. You give it a goal, an objective. And from there, it's up to the agent to reason, to plan, and to figure out the best course of action to actually hit that objective.
And that's what makes them so incredibly powerful. An agent can figure out what to do next on its own, picking the right tool for the job. It can deal with messy, incomplete data, the kind of stuff that would totally break a simple script. And maybe most importantly, if things change or something goes wrong, an agent can adapt and recover. That's a game changer.
So this table really lays it all out, nice and clean. Automation, it's all about rules. It's predictable, sure, but it's also brittle. The second it hits an edge case it doesn't recognize, it just breaks. Agents, though, they're goal-driven and aware of the context, which makes them way more adaptive and resilient. And yeah, automation might seem easier to set up at first, but it's the agents that give you that massive leverage because of their intelligence.
Okay, so now that we've got the definitions down, let's talk about the breaking point. This is where that confusion leads to the biggest and honestly the most expensive mistake that a lot of teams are making.
And here it is, the number one mistake: trying to solve an agent problem with an automation tool. It's like trying to use a hammer to drive a screw. It just doesn't work. What happens is teams get stuck trying to force this rigid, rule-based automation to handle problems that are complex and dynamic, problems that really need an agent's ability to think.
And this is exactly where things fall apart. That perfect automation you built, it works great until it doesn't. It just hits a wall the second a user's intent isn't perfectly clear, or the data has a few gaps, or the decision isn't just a simple yes or no. Basically, it fails the moment you need something that feels a lot like judgment. So if that's the problem, what's the fix? What's the right way to think about this? How do you build systems that are powerful but also resilient, smart but also scalable?
Well, the source material here is super clear on this. The best approach isn't about picking one over the other. The future isn't automation or agents. It's both. They have to work together.
The winning formula, the best architecture, uses both of them, but puts them in the right jobs. You can think of it like a two-layer system. You've got your AI agents up top as the smart decision layer. They're the brains figuring out what needs to be done. And then you have automation as the powerful execution layer below, just reliably getting those tasks done.
And it all comes down to this simple phrase: agents decide, automation executes. Seriously, that's it. That's the key takeaway right there. It's the mental model that really separates the good systems from the truly great ones. Let the smart part do the thinking and let the workhorse do the work.
When you build this way, you're making a massive leap. You stop building these fragile, straight-line workflows, and you start creating truly autonomous systems. We're talking about systems that can actually think for themselves, adapt, and operate on their own to achieve really complex goals.
All right, so let's bring this all back home. Let's talk about you, because figuring this out isn't just some abstract idea, right? It has a direct impact on the stuff you're probably building, like right now.
So we'll leave you with this final and I think pretty challenging question. I want you to take a really hard look at your own work, your own projects. Where have you built this complicated, fragile web of if-then-else statements to solve a problem that actually needs flexibility and judgment? Ask yourself, where are you still using automation when what you really need is an agent? Because answering that question, that could be the key that unlocks a whole new level for what you're building.